What's up? This is JB Genius. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and welcome to the first official episode of what I'm going to call Useful Utility. Now, Useful Utility is going to be a series purely based on showing you guys smokes, molotovs, flashbangs, just as like I said, utility that will help you playing on different maps in Counter-Strike. So as you see today, we are on the map Train, DE Train, and I'm going to show you go through a bunch of different smokes taken from stuff I've practiced, stuff I've created, stuff I've seen on YouTube, seen in pro games. And it's going to be kind of a compilation, a little bit of a tutorial video, a little bit of just a reference for being able to see smokes and see lineups and see where they land. In previous videos, I'd gone into the strategy behind why you do the smokes and built strategies and executes around them. This video will be solely based on utility. I will be making more videos using these smokes in executes and in plays, so look out for that in future videos. But the first thing I want to start with here is on the T side. That's generally where a lot of your set smokes are going to come from. That's where you're going to need to have your executes, and so we're going to start there. So we're going to start with a bunch of smokes out here from T-spawn. So there's so much you can do out here from T-spawn, especially in throwing smokes onto the A-bomb site. So we'll go ahead and get started. The first smoke you're going to want to throw, and these first three are going to be what I call outer control smokes. These are smokes I've saw Anders Bloom at part of Room on Fire, so On Fire Anders on Twitter. He's great personality within the CS:GO scene, great mind for the game, and these first three are straight from his videos that he did about a year ago on Train. So if you find this right smokestack, find the middle of it, and then go up to the wire and throw. This one is for electric box. So you see it bounces a couple times, lands between the red train and electric box, blocks off the angle there. So that's the first one of the outer control. The second two will be between blue and red train, and the last one's between blue train and the wall. For blue and red train, you go into that same corner, except you find the other smokestack, the one in the middle, and find the for the middle, same lineup, just different smokestack. That'll bounce off the roof, bounce off the blue train, and settle right in there between the trains. Your third outer control smoke, just turn God mode on so there's no untimely deaths in this video. Third outer control smoke, you'll come over here to this this pallet. You'll crouch and come into the corner of the wall. The clip brush here is kind of a triangle, so you come into the wall and into the corner as far as you can. You find, while still crouched, find this pipe, and then go a little bit above the roof, so to clear the roof. It'll bounce off of there, off a little vent, bounce a couple times down here, and perfectly block off there. So now you have a smoke for here, smoke between there, and a smoke for electric box. These three smokes will let you and your teammates get out of A main without much hassle, and you'll be able to get all the way to here without encountering any CTs unless they push beyond the smoke. So it'll give you a lot of control on the outer bomb site on Train. Now, problem then is getting the bomb down. Coming here to this default plant spot here, got to be able to find a way to get the bomb down. So these next three smokes will focus on the bomb train on A, planning for a default plant. So one of them will be here between red train and the bomb train. One smoke will go up on the bomb train, and the third will come between the bomb train and connector wall. So in the end, it'll look like that. Now, you might ask why only these two? Why do you need the third? It's because if you don't have the third, people can jump up on top of the train and actually look over the smokes, and it provides one way for the CTs, and you don't want that when you're trying to get the bomb down. These three smokes are also from Anders and his videos on Train. So to throw the one between the bomb train and the connector wall, the far one, come over here, find this little corner in the ground, and you're going to want to look there's a corner right here of this box, and then the corner of this roof. You're going to want to aim between them. So move up the corner to where the corners meet, if you drew imaginary lines, and throw. Comes in here, it'll bounce off the red train, bounce a couple more times, and it blocks off right there. If you aim it a little bit to the right, it goes a little bit farther, and it'll end up right about there. Provides the same amount of coverage, nobody's walking through that smoke. So for the next two, you're going to want to get up on top of this dumpster here. The first one, you line up with the circle. This one is for between red train and the bomb train. So you see there's a little dark triangle right here. You're going to want to aim at the top right corner of that and throw. And it'll barf down there. Anywhere within that triangle will get you the same result. So now, for your last smoke, you want to come over here to the back side of the dumpster and find this crack. And get it pretty precise. And then you're going to see this control tower, the top right corner of it. Just make sure you have the color and not the sky in your crosshair on the top right, and throw. Bounce off the red train, and it'll bounce right into the bomb train. So now you have 3 smokes there, there, and there. You get the bomb down. Combined with this smoke and this smoke here, you'll have a wall of smokes that will get you all the way into the A-bomb site and get you bomb plants with no CT. If no CTs are playing up here, you have a clean route to the bomb site. Now, a couple other useful smokes for the outside you can throw from T-spawn. Both come from this manhole cover right here. So looking straight down, position yourself in the middle of the manhole cover. This first one will be for Z connector. So if you find this edge of this box right here, and find this top wire, and then jump throw. I have a jump throw bind, so this lands perfectly every time, but what it'll do, it'll bounce off the floor, bounce off the wall, land perfectly in connector, which will generally block off this op angle. You can still see through it if you have an op, but anyone playing back in here, trying to peek down towards the back of the bomb train, you're not going to get it. And if you're ahead of the smoke, you're going to be very exposed and very obvious. And so the last one, probably the most useless of all of these, or the most specialized, but you come to the middle of the manhole cover and then just aim at the middle of the sun. You see how the sun, it expands and it'll get super bright, and then it kind of, as you look at the middle, kind of retracts a little bit. It may not, but you just aim at the straight middle of the sun. And what it'll do is it'll bounce, and it'll actually settle on top of the red train, which blocks off the angle from heaven. This is probably a more matchmaking smoke than anything else, because this one will let you can get to the top of blue train, and this heaven angle is covered. So in case you got some pesky guy who just loves to chill up here in heaven on you, throw that smoke at him, and then he's got to watch from you. You can peek him from out here on blue train. You can come down all the way on red train, peek the guy heaven. You come over here by E-box and peek him. It gives him a lot more angles to worry about and gives you a better chance and a wider variety of angles to attack somebody heaven from. So those are the 8 smokes I showed you from outside here in T-spawn. You have your 3 outer control smokes, your 3 smokes to the bomb train, smoke for Z connector, and a smoke on top of red train blocking off heaven. Now moving down over here towards Ivy, don't really have any set smokes down here, just wanted to talk about kind of a concept real quick. A lot of people like smoking off the right side of Ivy, or the left side of Ivy, to try to get control, but when you see what happens a lot of times with imperfect throws, especially on this left side, is there are gaps. Gaps are easily exploitable. CTs can post up here, you think it's smoked, and you run right by, bam, there you go, you're dead. So, what kind of a good metric is, because not all smokes are going to be perfect, but what a good metric is for if you can see your smoke land, if it lands in the middle of the train tracks, so let's go back here, lands in the middle of the train tracks, it'll block off from wall to wall. If it lands anywhere kind of outside of that middle, it leaves slight gaps. So if you're throwing a smoke, if you get up into Ivy and you can throw a smoke and you see it kind of settle in towards the middle, you know you have a pretty good smoke on your hands. If you throw a smoke and like that, it ends in the middle, so you're pretty fine. But if you throw one, say, try to get an imperfect one here, you get something like that where it lands over here, and you can see that it lands pretty far back. Obviously you won't have trajectory on, but you also won't have another smoke in your way at that time. So if you see it lands off, you're like, okay, you can know that there's a gap here. You can use that to your advantage and maybe pre-aim the gap in your smoke. This side, it's a little more forgiving because of the boxes, but for good measure, have it land in the middle. So moving on from Ivy, we're going to go to the next place, which is going to be the top of Pop Dog. So the top of the ladder over here. A lot of good smokes can be thrown. This is kind of your, as a tease, it's kind of your connector between A and B. You can rocket down the ladder and get out A. You can run down the stairs and get out B. It's a very powerful position to hold. So to throw these smokes, what you first want to do is run by here, is shoot out the windows. The windows will block the smokes, and you don't want to have that happen. You don't want to flub a smoke because you forgot to waste a bullet. So what the first one I'll show you is actually for Ivy, what we were just talking about. So if you come in here to the wall, you find this kind of middle crack in the wall. So you find this crack, line up with it, looking straight down. Go over here to this left window. What you can do is you're going to find this vertical brick line, this divider between the bricks, and you're going to move up into the center of the brick above it, and the brick right below the window pane. And you're going to just standard throw. And like I said about smokes and Ivy, it lands perfectly in the middle, providing full coverage. So if you want to help your teammate out Ivy, and you're in Pop Dog, he needs a smoke, bam, you've got him. The next smoke I'm going to throw, and these next two smokes I'm going to throw kind of deal with a concept that Anders talked about in one of his first train videos, which is point of departure, point of arrival. So the point of arrival for a smoke is obviously where it lands, where it arrives. So if we're trying to throw a smoke here, that's its point of arrival. But its point of departure is much different. We can throw a smoke here from T-spawn, like I showed you, but now we're going to throw a smoke here and here from the top of Pop Dog. Why that's important is to keep the terrorists, or keep the counter-terrorists, excuse me, guessing onto where you are and what your strat is based on where the smokes come. If there's only one way to throw a smoke, kind of explaining Anders' concept, if there's only one way to throw a smoke right here, then as soon as that smoke lands, the counter-terrorists have information as to where one member of the terrorist team is, because there's only one way to throw that smoke. If there are multiple ways to throw a smoke, it doesn't give the counter-terrorists as much information, and it might actually give them false information as to where something is. So, coming back up the ladder, to throw those two smokes next to the bomb train, for the first one you're going to line up here with this crack in the wall. You're going to find, actually this one isn't as specific. What you need to do is just find this pane and just kind of aim a little bit in the middle and the left of it, and medium throw. And so it'll bounce a couple of times and land right on my bullets. So it'll land right there. Doesn't need to be as precise, just kind of find a place in the window to throw it. For the second one, you line up with this crack between the divider and the white brick wall. You turn, you find this pane right next to the one you just threw. That's awkward. You find this brick line, this middle brick line, and just aim a little bit to the left so you don't hit the window frame. And again, medium throw. This one will bounce a couple times and land right there. Combined with your smoke, from there, from outside of A main, and you have the same look. Except, the first time we threw this, we had 3 people in T-spawn. The second time we threw this, we had 1 person in T-spawn and 2 in Pop Dog. And Pop Dog is, I think, about 10 seconds closer to the B bomb site. So if you wanted to fake A, go B, a little bit of strategy here, you have that advantage, and the counter-terrorists don't know where you threw those smokes from. They might think they're from T-spawn, because that's where they've experienced them from, and that's where you catch them off guard. The last smoke from the top of Pop Dog actually is more of a B smoke, and it'll smoke a connector, Z connector, from the B side. So it's also in this lineup, so you come here to this crack between the divider and the white wall, and you're going to find this window pane right here. So look at this window pane, and you're going to find this brick line, this vertical brick line below it. Now you're going to go down almost to this first horizontal brick line, but not quite. If you go all the way down, it'll actually hit off the window frame and bounce back. So we're going to go a little bit higher. And standard throw. What it does is it flies over, takes 1 bounce, takes a bounce off the wall, and settles into the connector. And you can see for B takes, very useful smoke, blocks off the AWPer's angle from there. If an AWPer wants to play this, he'll have to come out here and jump up and be exposed. Alright, back with you here. So, if the AWPer wants to go through this smoke, he'll have to come over here onto this railing. Also good for A takes, as if you have 1 or 2 players on B, you don't know if the terrorists have aggressed through here. Again, you're pushing through a smoke and you have no idea what's on the other side, especially if terrorists have ground towards connector. So that's the last smoke from up here. Now moving on down towards the B bomb site and towards Brown Halls. The first 2 smokes I'm going to throw go through this window right here, which also needs to be broken before you throw them. Now these are a couple more fake style smokes, so they will both land on the A bomb site from B, and this is even closer to the B bomb site. So for your first smoke, you line up in the middle of this pillar right here, crouch, and you're going to look for this quadrilateral shape, this 4-sided shape up here in the top corner, and you just aim right about in the middle. And you throw. It goes over, bounces, and bounces between the blue and the red train. Talk about point of departure, point of arrival. We now have a smoke that lands here from T-spawn, and we have a smoke that lands here from Brown Halls. 2 very different points for the same point, or points of departure for the same point of arrival. Very powerful if you're a team and trying to create some strategies. Your second smoke, what you do is it's for between the blue train and the wall. So one of the first outer control smokes I showed you. So you find this little yellow rectangle on the step, line up with the bottom right, find this little dirty spot in the ceiling, put your crosshair in the middle of it, and jump throw. It'll hit the skybox, bounce down off of this incline, bounce off the wall, and settle in right here. So you can throw this smoke, a smoke here, a smoke here, and a smoke here, all A smokes from within 5 seconds of the B bomb site. Very, very powerful and very tricky for CTs to know where you're coming from. Alright, so the last few smokes I'm going to show you are purely for the B bomb site, and thrown from over here, no fakes. There's some skyboxes preventing really intricate fakes from A towards B, so these are pretty standard. First one, probably the easiest smoke in the game right now, in the competitive map pool. You look at the sidewalk, and you throw. And the smoke bounces a couple times, and as long as it lands anywhere between here and here, really, which is a very wide range, as long as it lands anywhere between there, it's generally a good smoke. All you're trying to do is be able to get to the bomb site without someone here holding this angle. Obviously, you still have to deal with the top of white train, but this smoke will block off the op angle and any close rifle angles that riflers might want to take. So that one's super simple. Now when you get down here, you have the problem of crossing this large alleyway to the bomb train and to the default plant spot right here. So what to do? So we have a smoke for that, for right there. So what you do is you come up here, and you'll see there is kind of the clean side of the railing, kind of the rusty side of the railing, and this vertical pylon is where they split. So you walk into that pylon, turn around, and you see there's like a rounded triangle here forming the non-graffitied part of B. You come over here to the left side of it, place your crosshair in the middle, and move it straight up to the top of this concrete wall. And you're going to standard throw. What it does is it's going to hit the ceiling, bounce down, bounce a couple of times, and land right in that gap. So when paired with a smoke like this, you have a free alley. Besides, you only have one angle to watch when coming in here, and you can get a bomb plant down with really without encountering any CT resistance, unless they're holding a close angle over here, a close angle on the other side of the bomb train. But you only have one angle to worry about here, this little angle, and you don't have to worry about the rest of the bomb site when taking it. Now the last smoke I'm going to show you guys is one for upper B, so to block off this far angle down here, or this angle, so you can try to sneak out here a little bit and get some cheeky picks towards the bomb site. So there are a couple different ways to throw this, but the one I really like is a little bit set, so you know how to throw it every time. If you find the door here, go a little bit outside of the door frame, just maybe a crosshair width or so, and then come up to the bottom of these vents. So about right there. So that's your points of reference. Take a couple steps and throw. What it actually does is it hits the window. So we talked about you want to bust out the windows over there to throw. This one you actually want the window here because it slows the smoke down enough to where you have a very tight angle to peek from, especially if you have an op and you're peeking these angles. It gives you a very tight window to peek. It lands about right there. It lands a little bit farther forward than that. But what it does is it takes away any gaps from the opper there. If an opper is trying to hold from oil train or yellow train, takes away all those angles and lets an opper here work on picking white train, down here at spools, maybe the bomb train. It gives you about this, this kind of range in here to peek from without having to worry about anyone over here unless they shoot through the smoke. Also good for an eco push if you have that down right there and you just kind of jump out of the smoke and want to go get the bomb down. Finally, I'm going to show you guys one Molotov. There are a lot of Molotovs you can use and use very effectively on train. A lot of them aren't set, they're just kind of run and throw at a place and it works, but this one is a very useful one to know. It's kind of the guarantee Molotov. So if you're up here in upper B, light it and just throw basically anywhere off the door. Take a couple steps and throw. It lands in the default plant spot. So if your team plants the bomb default, you'll generally want your guy up here. All he has to do is throw that Molotov before the CT starts diffusing, and it'll burn him to death. Buy you some time, it'll win you some rounds. So that does it for me. That does it for useful utility on train. If you think I missed anything, you want to see more content like this, feel free to like, comment, please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to grow this channel. I'm going to be making more regular content. I'm home from college for the summer, so hopefully we'll get some more regular content on this channel. Watch for some strategy videos regarding trains soon, using some of the smokes shown in this video, and just be on the lookout for that. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. JB Genius out.